Welcome to the Common Queens podcast. I'm Alex.
And I'm Annie. And today we are super excited to talk to you about some of these new to us webcomics that we've been reading recently. I am really excited about these. I think that there's some quicker series to kind of catch up on as well. So it's nice. Maybe we could do a little buddy read along with all the listeners. But today we'll introduce you to some of the ones that have had us really excited, give you the know-how so you can get all caught up with us, and maybe you can join us from there.
Okay, so the first one that we're going to be talking about today is called Insector. And I have been on a little bit of a personal mission. It is no secret that Annie and I kind of gravitate towards romance.
Never.
Us who?
Me?
So I'm trying to branch out a little bit. Both of the new ones that I'm talking about today are not romances at all. This first one is an action series, so think very I Was the Final Boss. There's a lot of fighting. It's great. I love this one so far. Not very far along. It is about 10 or 11 episodes right now. It releases every Saturday, and this one, it kind of reminds me of Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Never seen it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I know that I've mentioned on here before that I was in a class called Zombies and the Culture of Fear. Well, in that class, we read the book Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and basically, like, the premise is that, like, there are aliens that come in, and then they take over your body, and they basically impersonate you.
Okay.
So they look like humans, but they're actually aliens.
Okay.
This is people who look like humans, but are actually insectors, which is kind of an evolved form of an insect. Very scary looking.
That sounds like my nightmare.
It's definitely a nightmare. So the main character, Mi-seong, he is an insector, but he's different than the rest of them. So the insectors are kind of top of the food chain. They're eating people. They're like, a lot of people think that they're an urban legend. They don't believe that.
They kind of hide in plain sight.
Yeah, like they look like humans until they want to look like the insectors. And they're all different kinds. Like it's not like they all look the same as insectors. It's like one kind of looks like a wasp. One kind of looks like a centipede. They're all different ages. It's very creepy.
Yeah, I feel like I'm crawling already.
You are going to hate this part then, because Mi-seong is kind of a unique insector. So instead of just being like one giant insect, he seems to be just filled with ants. Like he's got a wound on his neck that he keeps covered up with a Band-Aid. When he takes the Band-Aid off, ants just start coming out of the hole in his neck.
Nope.
It is horrifying.
Yeah.
But he is known as the Black Ant, the Kinslayer, because he is actually not killing humans like the rest of the insectors. He's going after the other insectors and killing them. So he's known for this. There are people on, like, kind of everyone wants to get to him. So all of the other insectors, they want to get to him because they're like, you're killing our kind. We are going to get rid of you. Like, this is not cool. There's a group of people who, they're not the police, but they kind of work with the police. Think like Men in Black.
Okay.
And they're called bug reapers. So they go specifically to deal with these bugs. They want to talk to him because they're like, we need to know what's going on. Like, what is going on with this guy?
Yeah.
I kind of want to know what's going on with him too.
Me too.
So far, all we really know is that the reason he is doing this is not because he's like a vigilante. He wants to help the humans. That would be nice. It's not his reasoning. He has to eat. The insects, the ants in him, if he doesn't feed them, they will eat him from the inside out.
But the other insects are eating humans. So why does he have to go after the insects?
So it's not clear yet.
Okay.
Really what's going on with
That's
all of that.
That's what everyone's trying to figure out.
Yeah. So it's just very creepy right now. Who knows? Like, I could not really say I love this one, though. There's lots of action and fight scenes between all of the different insectors and Meiseong. He doesn't team up with anyone else, but he's like working with another student who is also an insector, who is trying to get rid of, there's like the lead team of insects called the apex insects.
Okay.
And so she wants to get rid of them. Unclear why. I'm guessing it has something to do with like tragic backstory. They killed her family, something like that.
At least she's got a mission.
Yeah, she's got a purpose. But they kind of like make fun of her. They're like, yeah, you're just grabbing on to whoever you can that's stronger than you to like get what you want. Like you don't have any purpose of your own. And it's just like super creepy, super fun, definitely action filled. The art is really good. Like the insects are just skin crawling. It's like nightmare producing. So I'm really interested to see where they go with this one. It seems like basically he's going to be just going out and trying to eat as many insectors as he can.
Yeah.
They just seem to, like, he eats regular food too. He goes home, you see he lives with his grandma. His grandma knows that he's an insector, and she tries to feed him this, like, huge meal. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry, I already ate today. And she's like, oh, you found an insect? Good. And so she, like, knows what's going on. And then at the very end, kind of like where I am right now, you see he's at school and you can see like his skin is all irritated. The ants are just like really starting to get to him. At one point he has to fight for control and he loses control and the ants kind of win. And he becomes his like inner insector and almost like has this battle with this other student whose name is Yeojin, and she's the other insector at the school. But then he ends up being able to, like, withstand it, and then Yeojin is like, oh, this is, like, he's unlike anyone I've ever seen. I've never seen someone who can withhold from being the insector, like, being controlled by the insector. So I think that he's got some secret power. There's also, like, so there was a huge battle with this other guy who was an insector who was trying to control Yeojin and wanted Yeojin to kill Miseong, and she ended up not killing him. There was a huge battle with it. And then at the very end of that, there's another insector who comes and finds this like little, it looks like a pill, but then when he looks close up to it, it's got a bug in it. So I think that there's going to be something where like maybe that bug is like what started it all or something. So super early on, I could go like tons of different ways with this, so many different theories, but I'm definitely going to keep reading to find out what's going on with this.
It sounds interesting. I hate bugs.
I hate bugs too.
You were telling me, and I like couldn't even keep myself from flinching because I was like scared that the bugs would come into it again. So,
yeah.
I don't know. I might pick it up, but also I might freak myself out.
I definitely, I don't like bugs either, but
that's what makes it good, I guess.
That's what makes it good. It's just super creepy.
Well, I might start that one. Honestly, like, it's early on, and I do like getting a head start on the series, and they're, like, easy to catch up with. So maybe I might read it.
I don't know if I said, but this one is on Webtoon. Both of the ones that I'm talking about are on Webtoon today. Annie is talking about ones on Manta. So, Annie, what's your first one from Manta?
So, this one came out on April 16th on Manta. So, it's a little bit further along because it's had a few weeks to come out. But it's called How to Protect the Master of Monster Manor. Say that one 5 times fast.
I love the long name. I think it's great.
Here's the thing, like, they do get so crazy with it sometimes. This one's more of like a tongue twister for me than anything.
Yeah, it's fun.
But it's fun. So this one, again, released on April 16th. It is a Tuesday release. So you can read it right after your All Colors of Snow if you're like me and you have your specific days planned out. But so far, it's only about 20 episodes. So not super crazy to catch up on. It's a romance fantasy, not really surprising anybody. But it essentially follows this girl named Lynn who is playing a virtual reality game. Basically, like, It's in some nondescribed year where virtual reality games have kind of just like taken over the video game world. And essentially she starts playing this game called The Young Masters of Monster Manor. And it's a game in which you basically get to choose one of these angelic children, and you have to take care of them from the age of 12 and raise them to become these like adults that are like fully functional and able to care for themselves.
My nightmare of a game.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically like a parenting game. But basically you get to like protect them because they're in this monster manor where like all these different monsters and demons and things are trying to go after them. So your entire goal is keep them alive until they are at adulthood. So she, like, you open up the story, she's playing the game, and this is her 43rd playthrough trying to save this character named Deanne Redford, who is the angel of room 7, is like how they describe it. And we're introduced to her having failed her mission for the 43rd time because at 16 years old, Deanne gets poisoned and dies of heavy bleeding.
Oh my gosh.
So she's like, what the hell? Like, I'm cursed. I'm not good at this game. So she goes to like reload her save file so she can start back up at where he's 16 years old. She's like, oh, I'll just start from here. And then she like hears a voice in the game that says, you can take him from here. And after this, she's taken back to the beginning of the game, not where her save file was.
Oh, no.
So she's like, oh my God, did I lose all my special items? Like, what the hell is going on? I've played this game so many times now.
If you've been in a video game person at all before, you know that's a nightmare.
Oh my gosh, an absolute nightmare. So she's like, okay, whatever. Like, I can maybe get through a lot of this myself. So she's always played the game as a maid. There are a bunch of different titles that you can have in this game. You could be a teacher. You could be like a paladin, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But she ends up like being assigned this task of caretaker, which is not one that she's seen in the original game. So her immediate thought is they must have done an update in the game and like it just glitched. And so I'm back at the beginning with a title that's new to the game. So she goes in, she's just kind of like, unbeknownst to her, starting the game over. And, you know, like clockwork, the head maid turns into a Moros, which is basically like a zombie character. And so she has to slay the Moros in front of Deanne. So she notices that this spooks him. She's also noticing that, like, she can smell things now. She can, like, feel things that feel very real. And she's, like, trying to talk about all of, like, the different commands in the game. She's like, see settings, log out, and nothing's working anymore.
Oh, no.
So she's kind of like, okay, maybe it's just a glitch. Like, maybe I just have to get to, like, a save point or something like that. Mm-hmm. And so she kills the Moros and just kind of goes about everything as normal. She gets to meet, like, the different kid characters who always kind of pick on her character because Deanne is known to be, like, terribly hard to take care of in this game.
So why wouldn't she try and choose a different character at least once?
I don't know. She just says he's adorable. He's got white hair, bright red eyes. She's like, he's just so cute. So she's trying to take care of him. But he gets hurt, I mean, doing anything. Like, he trips on the way to her room and ends up, like, breaking his ankle.
Oh, my gosh.
And so she's like, literally, you can't even let this character out of his room. He gets injured. So basically, she's running into all these different characters, and she's starting to run into the quote-unquote caretakers of the other angels in this house. Mm-hmm. And they're all characters she's never seen before. So she's like, okay, it was a huge update. I'm just trapped in here because there are all these other caretakers now, and that wasn't a role that people could be originally. Mm-hmm. So she's getting to know all of them. And slowly but surely, she's noticing that the game is not going how she wants it to. She gets back to her player room. So it's usually like the main menu save area. Mm-hmm. And she doesn't have her beginner's suitcase, which gives her like her beginner's weapon or her like manual on how to do everything. She's just like, I don't know how to work this new character. Like, I don't know what my role is as a caretaker. So she's just kind of like trying to figure it out. And in the meantime, like everything starts going awry. She has to find like this weapon that she's not supposed to get till she's at like level 10. And she's just like, oh, well, I know where it's hidden in the garden, so I'll just grab it. And she's meeting all of these NPCs that have never existed before. So you're trying to figure out, is she with other players that are also like stuck in this game because of a glitch? Or are they NPCs and this is all part of the game?
Does she try asking? Like,
so she doesn't. Like, she's just trying to play in game.
Okay.
But like everything kind of starts going awry from the original storyline. So like her character on the first night is supposed to get terribly sick with a fever from visiting this haunted room. And it ends up happening to one of the other angel characters who, when you're playing as the caretaker for room 7, you don't know what's going on in room 2 because it doesn't impact you at all.
Yeah, but now she does.
But now she sees everything that's happening.
Interesting.
And it's happening to different characters. She's starting to see stuff that didn't exist in the game. She's like, is this an update that I'm not aware of?
She definitely got brought into the, like, she's a part of the game now. She's not a character.
We're no newbies to the video game.
We love a video game.
We love a video game webcomic. But basically, like, everything just starts kind of going awry. So where we're left off, I mean, she's really kind of just trying to figure everything out. She's using the knowledge that she has from, you know, her 43 other playthroughs to just try to like muddle her way through, and she's helping other caretakers take care of their quote unquote angels. But essentially, like, there's a lot of animosity towards her character. Like, they gave her a weird backstory saying she went to some, you know, elite schooling for how to be a caretaker. And people are like, oh, you think you're better than us? And she's like, what the hell is this storyline?
Oh my gosh.
But essentially, I really like the story. My concern comes in with the fact that this is listed as a romance fantasy. And it's not clear who the romance is supposed to be with. I have a genuine fear that it's supposed to be with Deanne, the boy that she's raising.
Yeah.
Because I don't like that shit at all. So that is like one of my biggest pet peeves. But to be completely honest, the way that it's looking right now, every single, like, all of the angel boys that talk to her are in love with her. Like, they're all blushing at her. They're all like trying to impress her, whatever. And then all of the male caretakers as well at a certain point are like eyeing her. So I'm like, I don't know what's going on or who the love interest is going to be yet. So I guess we'll just have to see. I'm hoping that it's not a child.
Yeah.
Please.
I mean, we would hope, but...
I know. But history has shown that sometimes they get freaking weird. So, I don't know.
It sounds really interesting, though. I love that. I mean, getting drawn into a video game, we've seen that before. We love it.
It's great.
Yeah.
And honestly, I like the way that they do it. Her character is pretty awesome. She's also not good at video games, which I can relate to very easily.
Yes, me too.
So I think it's a lot more similar for me of an experience to like how I would play a video game.
Yeah.
Because even with the background knowledge, she's like, I don't know what I'm doing.
I think it's interesting too, though, that like she can't bring up the items, because that's one that I haven't seen before. When people are brought into video games, they can usually still access like different items or stats or see information. And so this is like a pretty new spin, I think. It sounds pretty interesting.
Yeah, she's not really given like those background like side quests or anything like that. Like, she knows about their existence
from prior playthroughs.
Yeah. But yeah, she's kind of having to muddle through herself. So
I love it.
It's been fun so far. I think it's a good one. I'll keep reading, and hopefully the romance part doesn't give me the ick. So that's where we're at.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, the next one that I've been reading is not a romance at all. It is a horror comic. So this is, like I said, on Webtoon. It's called Manny. There are about 5 episodes out right now, so this one is very early on. It's starting off pretty creepy. I really like it. The art style definitely enhances like the kind of creepy factor to it. When it opens up, it starts by talking about, it's like opens up on like a very minimalistic drawing of a house on fire, and it's actually like moving, so you can kind of see
like an
that
in-motion graphic.
Yeah, in-motion graphic. It's only in the very beginning, and basically you see that there was a like family that was trapped in a fire, and there's a young girl, and she's the only one who lives through this fire. So they start interviewing her after this, and you kind of see that she's, you know, traumatized, terrified, doesn't really know what's going on.
Yeah.
And so you're trying to figure out like what's happening there. And then from there we see that Manny, who is the main character of this story, is going for an interview to be a full-time caretaker for a family where the grandmother has Alzheimer's. So he's there he does all of the cooking, he's going to do all of the cleaning, he's making sure that the grandmother is taken care of, and, you know, all of that stuff that you would see from like a full-time live-in caretaker. So he shows up and he's early to this appointment, but we see that the person who was supposed to come at the time that he's showing up at hasn't shown up. There's no indication that like there's foul play there, but with the rest of the story, I feel like Manny probably like did something to manipulate the situation. Basically, you just see that like he's controlling every situation so far. So Carmen, who is like the mother of the family, she says, okay, the person who is supposed to come in, he didn't come in, or they didn't come in, and I guess I'll just interview you right now since the other person hasn't shown up yet. So she brings Manny in, and they are talking about like what he'll be doing and what his like reasoning for moving is. And he says that the reason that he moved to a brand new country, like his previous work was in a different country.
Okay.
And he said that he wanted to move to a warmer place, that his entire family died in the Civil War going back on in his home country. And so that's why he's coming here to like kind of start over and start fresh. So Carmen starts showing him around everything and like introduces him to Isabella, which is the grandmother with dementia or with Alzheimer's. And you see that while they're kind of on this tour, Manny sees like a knife block, and you see him like looking at this knife block, and then they kind of move on. So they're talking, and Carmen is going through and saying like, here's all of the problems that we've been having with my mother and all of these things. And Manny is saying like, oh, you know, you need to up your security. You should add a security system to the doors, because if your mother gets out, then like she could wander if she gets confused. And Carmen says, you know, like, well, she would only be able to get into the garden. She wouldn't be able to get out of the actual house. And Manny's like, yeah, but you have a pool. If she gets out at night, like she may fall in. Yeah. And so Carmen is kind of thinking like, yeah, that's a good idea. He seems to know what he's talking about. Yeah. So they go upstairs to continue the tour, and they go to Isabella's room. And you see they're kind of looking around at everything, and Manny like kind of looks under the pillow and pulls out a knife and says, oh, it looks like your mother hid a knife under the pillow, but it's like from the kitchen, the one that he was looking at earlier. Like he planted the knife there to make it seem like the mother's situation is worse than it actually is. Creepy. Super, super creepy. So the mother is kind of like, okay, I don't want to interview anyone else. You seem to really know what you're talking about. Like, you're hired. We want you to move in.
Why does he want this job so bad?
My theory is that it's kind of like so you also see throughout this, like, so it just kind of goes on, and Manny starts getting integrated within the family. And basically, he has a moment where he's talking to Isabella the grandmother. And you do see, I mean, she really does have Alzheimer's. Like, she forgets that the kids are gone at school. She thinks that they're playing hide and seek when they're not there.
Yeah.
She has a moment where she has this music box, and when she opens the music box and starts playing it, like, brings her back to another time, and she thinks that Carmen, her daughter, is younger, and she's saying, like, talking really poorly about her and just saying, you know, like, oh, where is my daughter? I need to go find her. She's probably out with that guy. The whole neighborhood's going to think she's a slut. Like, just really bad stuff. And then as soon as Manny closes the music box, they kind of, like, she forgets about that stuff. So it was almost like the music kind of transported her back.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I'm not super, super familiar with how accurate that is, but that's how it's being portrayed now.
Yeah, I mean, it seems fast, but also, like, I know that there are those triggers.
Triggers, definitely, but it seems like a pretty quick one. I don't know how quick that happens, and I'm sure it's different for everyone.
Oh, yeah.
But you see that she does need help, and Manny does seem to be, like, interested in this family. So you see that there are two children in this family, Violetta and Luca, and Violetta is very closed off, doesn't really want to interact with Manny. Like, he brings in the laundry, and she's like, you can leave the laundry, and you can go. And he's like, okay, I'll go.
Yeah.
And so then you see that Violetta has a stutter. So she's got a stutter because she was in the attic, like, long time ago, thought she saw a ghost, and, like, it traumatized her so bad that she started stuttering and has had this stutter ever since. And you see that she goes to school and is trying to give this speech, and there's, like, a bully girl, her name is Jessica, who, like, records her giving this speech and, like, kind of having a meltdown about it because, you know, she's having a hard time delivering this speech. And so then it gets published all around the school. Violetta has started to, like, confide in Manny and saying, like, gone and cried to him because Violetta realized that they have a common taste in music. And so Manny kind of comforts her and, you know, is giving her advice and, like, how to get through things of just, like, you know, people are going to be mean to you. You just have to kind of move on.
Yeah, like how to move forward.
Yeah, how to move forward. And so she kind of forms this connection with Manny. And so she's going to Manny and she's saying, like, this happened at school. I'll never be able to show my face again. This was awful. You also see there's, like, a neighbor who has this kind of big German Shepherd dog. And the dog does not like Manny. You see that the dog, they even mention, like, oh, our dog usually loves you. Like, I don't know what's going on because growling at the house. And then you see in the background, Manny is, like, in the house, like, having a stare down with this dog. So then you see, I don't really get how this is working, but somehow the dog is, like, let out, and it looks like the same dog. It's like another German Shepherd style dog. And Jessica is, like, out in the street, and the dog, like, attacks her. Like, kind of eats her face a little bit. And so Jessica is gone from school for a while, and then things kind of start moving on. Violetta starts making some friends who, like, are supportive of her and saying, like, hey, you know, like, next time you deliver a speech, we'll come and we'll sit in the front row for you so that we can, like, be there and be supportive of you. Aww. And then you see Jessica comes back to school and, like, has an eye patch on because her eye's gone. And, like, her mouth has all this scarring, like, basically, like, torn apart and just horrible stuff. And Jessica was a part of, like, the popular people who their friendship was, like, very shallow. So, like, her boyfriend broke up with her. All her friends won't hang out with her anymore because of the way that she looks now.
Yeah.
So Jessica is kind of, like, miserable about this. And Violetta actually goes and, like, tries to make friends with her. And, like, you know, says, like, hey, you can come hang out with us if you want. Like, just really, like, kind of gets it. Like,
yeah, I've been in your shoes.
Yeah, I've been in your shoes. And even though you were mean to me, like, I don't want you to feel, I feel bad for you that like this happened to you and all that. So then we kind of cut, and so Manny's kind of, you know, not controlling the situation, but just kind of, you know, being helpful, being there. And we cut to Manny is like doing landscaping in the yard. Mm-hmm. And Carmen, the mom, is just sitting and having a drink and is like, oh, Manny, come have a drink with me. Like, let's just chill. You don't have to work all the time. So Manny goes and like sits down and has a drink. And then they like start talking. They're like, oh, it's such a nice day. They've been drinking for a little bit. So they decide to get into the pool. Mm-hmm. So they both like just strip down to their underwear and get into the pool. And you see that Manny has a scar all across his back, and Carmen thinks that it's a tattoo. She's like, oh, what's your tattoo? And Manny explains to her that no, it's not a tattoo. It's like a lightning scar. Have you seen that where someone gets struck by lightning and you can see the patterns? Mm-hmm. It's like that on all over his back. And he's like, you can, like, if you feel it, the skin feels different. Like, it's not a tattoo. It's just scarring. And so she's, like, really close behind him in the pool, feeling his tattoo. And Violetta, like, wants to come down and tell Manny about what's happening with Jessica. Mm-hmm. And sees this happening in the pool and, like, starts to get jealous because she's, like, developed a crush on Manny. And so it's like fracturing the mother-daughter relationship because Violetta is like got a crush on Manny, and it seems like Carmen is kind of interested in Manny too, even though you do see her husband at one point. His name is Daniel. He hasn't been involved very much yet. So far, the main characters that have been shown are just Carmen and Violetta. I'm sure that the others will be brought in, but you see Manny has made like those paper, like not paper doll, but like the paper chain people where they're all holding hands. Yeah. He makes that with the whole family. And at the very end of the last episode that I read, you see a fracture in the hand holding between Carmen and Violetta. And so it's kind of implied that he's trying to get in there and like manipulate the family relationships. And I feel like he was involved. Whatever happened at the beginning with that little girl, like she says Manny in her interview with the police, but you don't know anything else about it. And I just feel like he's trying to control a family and like be a part of the family. But then when things don't go his way, then it all goes to hell and he ends up like killing the family. That's my guess right now.
What if he's the ghost that Violetta saw? He's
definitely not the ghost.
Damn.
But I like your theory.
I'm just saying, I've got good theories.
This one, I can tell already I'm going to love it. It's thrilling. It's super creepy.
I will say, I just looked at the picture that they have to open it. I hate him.
Yeah.
So it's doing a great job.
Yeah, they make him look like, just you can see.
Yeah.
Too like
crisp,
too perfect, too like he's manipulating himself and trying to manipulate everyone else too. I can just feel it.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it.
You know, like to me, it just seems like he's trying to be in control of absolutely everything. And when something does not go his way,
it all splinters.
That's when there's going to be problems.
So creepy.
Read this one with me.
Okay, I'll read. Gosh dang it. Fine. Yes, I will read that one with you. So, last but very much not least today, I do want to leave off on one that is a little bit more positive. I know it's not listed as a comedy, but to be honest, this one has had me laughing out loud because I just really like the characters. And I feel like they're very emotive. So, like, I'm right there with them through, like, everything they're going through. The last one we'll talk about today is called Dealing with Demons. This one is new on Manta. It only has, like, 8 episodes. So, it's, again, a very quick read. Super enjoyable as well. It is listed as a romance fantasy. Again, I feel a lot more of like the comedy fantasy as of right now in the story. I'm sure the romance will happen later. That's fine. But basically, the story opens up and we see Hwamyoung. He is a demon who's basically just like sitting on an oxygen mask. It's very funny to me because when he takes it off, he's breathing fire.
Oh my gosh.
So it's supplying him with like, I don't know, his demon energy. But essentially he takes off his oxygen mask. He's just like laying in his room and he's just kind of talking through the cycle of how his entire life is just torture and death and torture and death. And he's bored.
Yeah.
Like not even like, oh, I hate this. Like he's just bored. He's like, whatever.
Apathetic.
And he has a human assistant named Soo-hyun who's like walking over with his 284th birthday candle cake.
Does it have 284 candles?
It's like all fire.
I love it.
But Soo-hyun's like, I'm sorry you're so bored. Maybe you should try something you haven't tried yet. And he's like, I've been alive for 280 something years. I've tried everything. And so he's like, I've tried everything except for saving people. And so Soo-hyun's like, why don't you try saving people then? That's fine. So he's just like, whatever. Like he kind of scoffs. But then you see him on the subway, like sprawled across this like reserved seating for elderly people. And like to the point that when these older men are like, hey, that's seating for elderly people, he goes, okay, do you want to sit down? And then you see all three of them are sitting together. Because Hwamyoung's like, I'm 280 years old. I'm an elderly man.
That's true. He may not look elderly, but he is.
Yeah, he is. Don't judge a book by its cover. So essentially he's like, I guess I'll just have to wait and see like how I can save everyone. But he starts seeing these evil spirits arise, which means there's about to be like a mass catastrophe. So all of a sudden you see this guy on the subway kind of losing it. He's like, if I can't have what I want, no one can. And he puts on a gas mask and he's about to release like this toxic gas. So everyone starts running away except for this girl who's sitting down just like listening to music on her headphones, like zoning out on her phone, whatever. So Hwamyoung swoops in. He sucks up all of the toxic gas because he's a demon. He could do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
And when the guy's like, who the hell are you? He just puts the guy's head through the glass of the subway train. And then he leans into the girl. He's like, I just saved you. And you aren't even thanking me. And I'm pretty annoyed by that. And he grabs her face to like smush her cheeks together, like out of frustration. And she grabs his face back and says, I kind of wanted my life to end here, you prick. Like, I never asked for you to save me. So they're kind of like right at this standstill. You do get to meet Dokyoung as a character. She is the female who is squeezing the demon's face. And with her character comes quite a few trigger warnings. There are a few different trigger warnings in this series about suicide or self-harm. So just know if that's not something that you can read about or whatever, there are some different graphic scenes in here for that. But you see that Dokyoung apparently is familiar with demons because a year ago she had sold her good luck on accident to like this nameless demon. Like he had just been like passing out like kind of scam paperwork and she was unlucky enough that she like signed her name on it without reading the terms and conditions, and she signed over all of her good luck to this demon.
I mean, that seems like something that would definitely be able to happen. Don't we all just kind of skim through the terms and conditions?
I know, we should not anymore. So essentially, like, she got rid of all of her good fortune. So she continues to fall for terrible scams. All of the people in her life distance themselves. She's barely skating by in life. And she even gets implicated for crimes that, like, she never was involved in at all.
Oh, no.
Like, her luck is literally down the drain. So she does, at a certain point, like, consider just, like, ending it all. She's like, I don't feel like I have anything else to live for. So she goes to jump off this bridge, and Hwamyoung swoops in, like, wings out and everything, and he goes, sign a contract with me, and I'll make your life better. She's like, I've been down this road. So they end up falling into the river together, and Hwamyoung can't swim. So
oh, no.
His human assistant has to get both of them out of the water after falling off this bridge. But essentially, they start taking care of her, and they're trying to convince her to work with Hwamyoung, who you learn is the demon of disillusionment. So he basically just banks on everybody's disappointment and unhappiness with life. And he basically has these like crops of demon fruit that he gets to harvest, like based on all of the disillusionment and everything he collects from other people. And usually the rate of this is it takes like a week or so to like bloom a new fruit. And just from her like walking through the field, all of these plants are like bearing a bunch of fruit already.
What does he do with the fruit?
We don't know yet.
Okay.
So Hwamyoung is like, honestly, this might be my key to like, you know, being a bit more successful and maybe not as bored with my life because this is new and different. And so he's pretty determined to get her to sign a contract with him. The caveat, since she has an active contract, she's not allowed to do so. And this is where Woo Hyuk comes in. He is just a nice, like, seemingly really sweet guy. He is actually a demon. He goes to, like, a college campus and he's like, sign here for a free soda or whatever. And everybody who writes their name down on the paper, like, ends up meeting their demise. Like, a building collapses. And only those 17 people die. And he's like, wow, must have been really unlucky for them. And he realizes that his luck isn't quite realized. Like something a little unlucky always happens to him. And the demon's like, why the hell is this happening? And he realizes it's because the way the terms of the contract are listed out, in order for him to get all of your luck, you have to die. So he's waiting for Dokyoung to die, essentially, so he can get all of her luck. And he hasn't quite gotten all of it that he needs. So he basically goes after her after, like, there was a crazy incident where a car crashes in the front window of her building that she's, like, working at work. And she's just like, I literally can't even catch a break. Like, every time I get a job, the business has to close down from a freak accident.
Oh,
like,
my gosh.
She's like, I need money to live. Like, I can't do this anymore. And so Woo Hyuk ends up, like, walking up to her and saying, well, then you should just end your life. And she's like, I mean, she's just mystified. Like, she, one, doesn't want to see this demon again. But two, she's just like, that's a horrible thing to say to somebody. And he's like, yeah, you can't get out of this contract. It's either me or you. One of us has to go, and it's going to be you. And she gets really upset, and she goes to stab him in the back. Like, she decides, she's like, if it has to be one of us, it's going to be him.
Yeah.
And she's so unlucky that a basketball from a nearby basketball court flies in between it, and she stabs the basketball instead of him.
Oh, no.
So immediately Woo Hyuk's like, okay, I'll just kill you then, and then I'll get your good luck, and that's fine. And who swoops in but Hwamyoung, who is very determined to sign a contract with Dokyoung. So he essentially says, I'll kill this guy for you. Will you sign a contract with me? And she's like, you know what? If you kill him, maybe I will. So he goes to try to defeat this demon of good luck. And he finds out that Woo Hyuk has much better luck than it was even supposed to be. Because as Hwamyoung is trying to defeat him, a bus comes flying over, like in the sky towards them, and it only hits Hwamyoung.
Oh my gosh.
So Woo Hyuk just assumes he's won this battle. And once he smashes Hwamyoung's head into the ground, you see Hwamyoung like just kind of being basically taken over by like this dark presence. And he's like turning all black. And Soo-hyun ends up like handcuffing him and Dokyoung to the gate behind them. And he's like, basically, Hwamyoung takes medicine that suppresses a lot of his demonic power because he was cast out from hell and he can't really fit in with the humans here as a full demon. So he suppresses a lot of his powers so that he can be here. But when he's in his full form, which is like starting to come to fruition right now, he ends up like stealing all of the happiness and enjoyment out of everyone around him. And obviously it leads to like very grave and dangerous situations for the humans around. he ends up defeating Woo Hyuk by Woo Hyuk stabbing himself from like all of the displeasure that's taking over his mind.
Oh my gosh.
And essentially like all of this like black chaos is just happening around them. And you see that he's basically out of control of his powers. Like once Hwamyoung is like in his full demon form, like anyone and everything around him is suffering, and he's like not even in control of when he's in like his half demon form or anything like that. Mm-hmm. So Dak Young ends up undoing her handcuff and going up to him to like snap him out of it. And she somehow has the power to do this. So now they're like, okay, there's something more to this girl who seemed to be just unlucky. Like now she's like able to like deal with demons.
Yeah.
And like help them through their own problems as well. So I love this one. The art is great. The character design is awesome. I haven't quite pinpointed, but the art style reminds me of something we've read. Mm-hmm. Maybe almost like Trophy Husband-esque.
Okay.
Like a lot of like the shadows and like the flames look very similar, and the characters do.
Have you
Obviously,
looked
they're
up the
different.
artist to see?
I haven't. So I'll have to. I'll have to look and see who's doing the art for it. But it is great. I love Hwamyoung as a character. I love a villain who just kind of loses his luster for doing evil things. Mm-hmm. So very specific, but it's a great one so far and super easy to catch up with. Highly recommend you read it.
It sounds like he's going to be a very morally gray character.
We love a morally gray character.
It's our favorite kind of character.
It really is. We have problems. But anyways, thank you so much for joining us on this episode to talk about some new series that we're reading. If there are any that you've started reading that you'd like to recommend to us, we would be more than happy to start on reading those as well. So thank you so much for listening to the Comic Queens podcast. We'll talk to you on the next one.
Goodbye.
Bye.